has been Spider Queen. Team with the Spider Queen, and we're going as we go into game 3. BlossoM wants to finish this one out. No Braxis, no Volskaya. Let's see if Wiz pulls that amazing Dehaka once more. Not likely. Oftentimes, he played Thrall when Thrall was not even in the meta on this map often. And for Tempest, I think that Medivh ban should be locked in.
I was about to tweet that meme before during the break, but I decided that perhaps I should leave that one alone. I would say that maybe Medivh ban is certainly on the top of my mind after seeing ley lines like that. Hey, all right, finally, Tempest. We've got a list of steps to success here for Tempest, and that is number 1, taking Medivh off the field.
I think that should have been done since game 2, but they have another chance. Game 3, Medivh is out of this game. But that's something else that BlossoM has to think. They can't bring that Medivh synergy anymore with the Stukov or Malfurion. Genji always been banned from BlossoM.
Yeah, not really a big surprise there. You can't really let that one go through. What are the first 2 picks? Do you want to try to pick something away from maybe, I don't know, Gondar? Do you want to take the Garrosh? I don't expect that to be happening here. I mean, first pick Malfurion, I guess that's not a big surprise, but I want to say a lot of things were a big surprise from BlossoM, right? You don't expect to see Bala back out again?
That's the thing. What else do you pair up with? Now, Furion pairs up with so many, so that's an easy first pick. But here comes the picks from BlossoM, Bayev, and Garrosh. They're revealing their strategy a little bit already. They're going for that wombo combo.
Yeah.
Forcing Tempest actually to pick Tyrael here. Very, very likely.
I mean, I guess you're right. That does give away, maybe telegraph BlossoM's strategy early on. I don't think it's too much of a mystery that you want to grab Maiev if she's open, especially I think banned, only in game 2. I think she was left up in game 1, right? Or am I totally
Maiev
mistaken?
went through game 1.
Okay.
Was banned in game 2.
And now in game 3, she is picked. Yeah, there we go. Tyrael coming out.
It was a forced pick, though. So BlossoM should be very aware that Tyrael was going to be picked by Sign, very likely. And we used to have Sign on Tracer, but in this case where Tyrael is needed, Sign will be on the Tracer, and it was Dami playing that Tracer role. Maybe they'll switch once for the day. Dami, I believe last year he did play few Tyrael. Not as good as Sign, I would say. But that's like a low chance.
I really like that about the flexibility. You know, I've had the opportunity to broadcast other games in which teams of 5 players face off against each other, and there the roles are very, very narrowly defined. So it's actually really cool for me to get a chance to see teams that have that flexibility.
It was not like this since, I would say but ever since the beginning of 2017, where players actually flexed into multiple roles. That was a big swap, and we had lots of roster swaps in the other region. I think that was also why we had lots of flexibility within the players. And also started in Korea later in 2017.
Okay, well, I'm glad that flexibility is there. Not a whole lot of flexibility in... Well, I guess we are seeing flexibility in the bans this time around. No surprise with the Stukov ban, as that was super effective. We talked about Silence being very well utilized in game number 2, but also Malthael taken off the field.
Thinking about the solo lane. Maybe he just wants to dominate with a Sonya in this case, but
I mean, we saw Sonya get dominated by, what was it, the Dehaka solo kill in game 2, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's only been Tempest playing Sonya so far, so I don't know if that's something BlossoM would necessarily want to just mix in right now.
Good used to be one of the best solo lanes in Korea, along with HGC, but ever since the beginning of 2018, they have been falling behind, and Wiz just dominating, oftentimes with a weaker matchup, actually. very strong player on the team. That's why they are able to also have a rotation. Just trusting his solo lane, have a great 4-man rotation all the time because they can trust on that solo lane so much.
I mean, what happens when they can't trust the solo lane, right? I feel like we're starting to see a few, what do you want to call them, chinks in the armor, as the case may be. I don't know if that's necessarily going to continue. Maybe the small break that we had after 2 difficult games for Tempest is enough to reboot and revitalize them. I certainly hope they have that ability to trust not only just their solo lane, but their team coordination has been what has been such a big struggle. Previously, it was what ETC and Falstad. The combo didn't work out. Game 2 just, I guess, didn't work out for many reasons, but. Game 3 is going to look much different, so I think that's a good thing for Tempest.
Yeah, BlossoM also has the Riptire combo with the cage. So Tempest needs an extra escape, and that will be the bunker coming out from the Blaze, last final pick, along with the Grey main. Tempest just going for their comfort picks, going back to before. It seems like, except for that Blaze, they're going back to the old 2017. With the Grey main, Tyrael, and all they needed was maybe Sonya, and that was just going to be Tempest. Maybe a Rehgar instead of that Malfurion too, but so far has not been too effective in this matchup.
Yeah, Tempest maybe rewinding things back to a previous day. I think BlossoM, if they rewind too far, they're going to struggle a lot. They were a team that really came into HGC and it looked like they were a little bit outmatched. And then really have sort of earned their way up every single spot to now being pretty middle of the pack. But, I mean, if they take out Tempest here, granted it does come a little bit late in the season, but Ariel going to be the final pick. No.
From Hearthstone.
I know.
Well,
I know. I guess it's a crazy day.
I guess Battery from Junkrat is all right from the poke, but very surprising. Ariel pick. Of course, Nasang likes to play some off-meta support heroes, but Ariel they don't have a Hanzo, they don't have a Vala, they don't have anyone like Tychus with a Junkrat. That's a little surprising, but I guess we'll figure out once we go into game number 3.
Maybe our final game in this best of 5. Yeah. I thought I was going to be saying that. I didn't think I was going to be saying it for BlossoM. There you can see BlossoM on your screen as they get on here to Tomb of the Spider Queen. 2-0 up over Tempest. Our production guy thinks that this should have been a 1-1 score already. But hopefully we'll be swapping that over.
It's also Nasang is the only one who played Ana and Alexstrasza in Phase 1. Other support did not play Ana Alexstrasza at all in Korea. And he's trying something new with, see, notice due to having that crown on his head. It is not the first time. I think first time in Korea, but just a normal game, normal Hero League game. It's been tried within the highest tier Grandmaster a few times, but from what I remember, it has not been so successful.
Okay, well, it's a brand new game. Maybe let's talk about some of the things that are different this time. Certainly Tempest needed to kind of change things up a little bit, but what do you think of the way that they have adapted their play from the first 2 games, G-Clef?
Well, I think we have to look into play a little bit more as Tommy's on the Tracer.
Okay.
And if you're just tuning in, it is correct. BlossoM has that too, and Tempest still yet to win a game off of tonight's series. That's been happening.
The sentences we're having to say right now, not necessarily things that I expected, but I guess maybe Tempest might not have expected that either. So yeah, we're all learning things here today. I'm learning more about top-level HGC Korea action and whether or not that's actually what I'm witnessing.
And actually, I was expecting some Phoenix to come out on this map.
Okay.
Not even banned, considered at all today between these 2 teams. KSP Black tried Phoenix as a solo lane, not the traditional solo lane we have, but on this map, I think eventually we may not have a solo laner. Of course, may just be the same, but over the time, especially around mid-season brawl, maybe into phase number 2, may not be the same as.
Oh, good.
Phoenix is actually a very good solo lane. Can also, will not escape, but.
Good is on an adventure right now. He is taking the scenic route.
Ooh, can he actually? No, Nasung finds him.
Okay, good.
Buys lots of time. Did
He
they
does?
actually get the turn in? Yes, Rayman actually did. So it's somewhat of a.
Hashtag worse.
It's not the worst thing. He actually bought lots of the rotation down from multiple members. So, let's see where this leads Tempest into the game. They don't actually, of course, they don't have enough for 50. But they got sub turned in.
Modern going in knowing that he has the rest of his support. At least BlossoM very confident in their teamwork, and that makes a lot of sense. Dudu will get the turn in, so he's going to be able to channel that in, convert on the extra gems from that early kill. So things seem to be going already BlossoM's way. What is Tempest's plan to get an early lead? They actually had one in game number 2.
Because Korean, especially the Korean region, the results are very predictive. We have clear favorites oftentimes. This is one of the rare chances that you get to see of usually the better team getting dominated.
Oh no, Dami!
Gets Umbro bind by Maiev.
Oh, Tracer tragedy.
I'm guessing he didn't have the recall.
No, he did, but he got tossed out of it, right?
He's trying to blink out of
he tried to blink
and
out.
He got dragged in.
Just too much CC. I feel like saying too much CC for a Tracer is almost something I never get a chance to say. But now, Sign is actually feeling the same struggle that Dami did only moments earlier. I mean, what else can you say? Tempest are just getting picked apart.
Losing my words here as BlossoM is dominating.
I'm glad I'm
Game
not
3
the
also,
only one.
As this is very rare, I would say. There's a great mind from Dudu.
So this is where we watch BlossoM rotate around the map and find kills in every single lane in every single situation. It's like, what is Tempest doing, G-Clef?
I'm just glad Tracer didn't take Untouchable. I'm just so happy. Could have been even worse if that happened, but BlossoM with this initial push, and they are taking a big lead, 1.5 level already. In spite of this, rarely ever happens. It seems like BlossoM is a KSB Black or something tonight against Tempest. They're trying to focus on the Gondar.
Yeah, I figured it out.
No Medivh this time for the save, but Ariel comes. There's healing.
Yeah, Ariel pretty good at that. Gondar's still, not totally out of the woods, but he's going to take that pulse bomb.
See, look at that battery. Dudu actually doing so well. Dami
does not die.
Dami sprays.
Oh, Dami.
You sprayed, Dami. Trying to blink out? No way. No way.
Ah, that was, I don't know, definitely a betrayal right there. What am I watching? I figured out what it is, G-Clef. We accidentally queued into quick match here. I thought it was a competitive game on a competitive day, but I think nothing could be further from the truth.
Oh, report good for AFK. That's why he's getting chased right now. And onto the wrong side of the map.
What is...
Can't even escape.
Are they taking turns?
They're blocking the path of jet propulsion because that's the only escaping tool that he has, but BlossoM just on top. I don't think it's just Tempest not having practice because I have a lot of them added to my personal account, and I don't watch them, but I could tell they're screaming against someone else. But it has been happening so many times again for the last few days. So it's not that they have not been scrimming, not been practicing. I think something is very off in the team today. Maybe the atmosphere, maybe something happened that we don't know.
Yep. I mean, if you have to think of one team that has trouble showing up, Tempest are on top of that list. But really, today they are not showing up in the way that I expected.
Of course, I'm not stalking them. I just had them added. And
it's like humble brags. It's like, oh, by the way, I got the pro players on my friends. We hang out all the time. Just saying.
No.
They think I'm pretty good. Not that great, but like, pretty good.
Because Because I care about our region and the
Okay.
players, and they're very important. But seeing this, because I'm trying to provide you guys the reason why this is happening. But so far, I cannot use my brain 100% enough to give you guys a good reason why this is happening.
Well,
but BlossoM is just playing so much better.
So you're saying you know how Tempest feel?
No, it's gotta be very bad. It's gotta be a terrible feeling.
Quite the struggle here. Yeah, the Tomb of the Spider Queen, also maybe the Tomb of Tempest. Scoreline versus BlossoM, not a whole lot standing in their way. You know, I thought that we might see a very short series. Didn't expect to see one quite this short. I was going back and watching the last time.
The other side, there's our Mubine. Taunt. Oh, tries still drawing away, but the cage will survive for now. But this keep, the problem is keep is going down. Guys, it's only 7:40 into the game. And Spider-King usually goes very long compared to the other maps. They're going for the core. Are they? They have 13.
No way.
Ripped apart.
Good explodes.
They don't even have 10. They don't have the bunker. They don't have the sanctification. They don't have any
nowhere
counters
to hide
against those cages. Pulse Bomb misses, but still.
Are they really doing this, G-Clef?
5 levels apart. Tempest, I don't think they were ever 5 levels apart. Ever in their history of competitive HGC. Even before HGC, counting all the Super League days, I don't think they had ever had the 5 level. I can't even continue my sentence here.
I mean, 5 is a high number, G-Clef. This is going to be a sub-9-minute victory. 8:28. The win for BlossoM. 3-0 over one of the top 3 teams in HGC Korea. Wow. You know, I don't know. What do you have to say about that? Top 10 HGC betrayals.
I would say this is the biggest upset ever that happened in Korea. I would actually say.
Oh my god.
Last year, the second one I will put Tempest on the final match of... Final match is one of the phase against Raven. They lost that series against Raven due to lack of practice. I know that for sure. That was the fact. But in this case, I don't think it was the same. But something has gone wrong for Tempest, and they are going down against BlossoM with a 3-0. Look at that score. Look at the time.
No kills.
Dude, 8:28.
No
this is Spider Queen.
What?
This is not Braxis. This is not one of the other games. What is it? Mines. Of course, that's not even in the map pool. But this has never happened against Tempest.
Well, you know, there's a first time for everything. You know, a third time for me being here to cast HGC. I feel like I picked a pretty good day to show up. What a time. You know, we had Rally Jaffa here casting yesterday. I think he's maybe a little bit happier that I don't know. I even know what he would have to say about this.
If Rally was here, this
what a time
entire
to be alive.
room, I'll be toxic. I would be suffering from all the toxic from Rally. I'm pretty sure I would be suffering because the air will be filled with some gas. I don't know, but that's the result, and I think we'll have to hear from BlossoM actually about what they think.
I'm excited for this interview.
Tempest was tonight. I am as well. And if you had to pick an MVP, who would you choose from BlossoM though?
You know, Gondar looks super solid. Even when he was forced onto picks outside of his comfort pool as a Nubarak, looked 100%. In game number 1, Skarash also super solid. I feel like, you know, not to take anything away from BlossoM, I felt like this was more Tempest losing all 3 games than it was BlossoM winning all 3. Their combos look super sick. Their Medivh definitely ban-worthy in all 3 games, so I'm glad that finally that happened, but in the end it just wasn't enough. So, I mean, you can really give it to maybe BlossoM as a team MVP. That's my cop-out answer.
Yep, if I had to choose one, I would choose Wiz.
Okay.
It was awesome. He was solo lane, was dominant. Game 2, yeah, the solo kill with the Haka.
Yeah.
Kill onto Sonya.
1v1.
It was incredible.
Yikes.
I think it's both. BlossoM playing better than usual, getting the easier draft, which fits their color, which doesn't really overlap with Tempest. But Tempest playing a lot worse than their usual. It's both BlossoM playing better, Tempest playing worse. So that's why we saw this crazy gap in between these two
A
teams.
gap of 5 levels.
Which
at the
I
end.
don't think ever happened against Tempest. I don't think ever. Level 5 difference is very rare in Korea. Maybe back in Super League against like MVP Black dominating against some weak new team. That has happened a few times. Less sub 10-minute games all the time, like BOE with Sylvanas and Syndragosa.
You're
those
reaching
sort of things.
way back there.
No,
G-Club.
I'm continuing my line, but this was a similar game in Game 3. Level 5 difference. That was against the team that we don't even remember the team names of, like maybe Romang or some old ones. But this is Tempest, and 4th place dominating third place, which barely ever happens in Korea. One of the biggest upset was Tempest actually defeating KSP Black the first game of phase number 1, 3-0. Ever since that moment on, after Eastern Classes especially, Tempest has been stepping down, and I think this is a trending result. May continue over. BlossoM maybe going after that Eastern Clash.
No.
Maybe the one going to Europe. I am going that far. I am actually
You're
going
getting ahead
that
of
far.
yourself.
No,
there.
I don't think so. I am actually very, very disappointed from Tempest. I am actually quite, I don't want to be too emotional, but I'll be very angry at Tempest if they are like smiling after the match or something, personally, because this is not a series they should be smiling after.
Yeah, and I mean, from BlossoM, I want to see how they feel about this. That's why I'm looking forward to the interview, because you have to know as a team in BlossoM's position, they're very well aware of what their experiences have been in phase 1, or not phase 1, in stage 1 of phase 1.
Part 1, yes.
Yeah, in part 1, BlossoM got totally dominated by Tempest.
Yes,
it just was not even close. That last game on Tomb of the Spider Queen looked a lot like the entire series that BlossoM had against Tempest in phase 1.
Well, if you're a Tempest fan, you must be praying very hard on, I don't know what's happening to the sound, but I think it's the Medivh going through the portal, breaking the time, breaking the sounds.
That's that ley line that we got a chance to see. Epic combos. It just was. This is I don't know, basically the most like perfect way that you could expect to have this game go for BlossoM. You saw the mosh pit come in, and it's like, is this where Dami just goes nuts? No, it's not. It's where Tempest gets completely wiped, and immediately after this, BlossoM go on to win the game.
Look at those sick burrow charges from Gondar.
Yeah, not the Gondar of the past by any means.
Look at that, silenced, stunned.
What do you do? You're the saddest
Cassia ever.
Cassia that you could possibly imagine. It's like you pick the counter pick and you just get dominated there. The follow-up ley line up here, of course, the reason that Medivh was banned in the game immediately after this. What do you say about this? I mean, BlossoM was clearly the better team.
Oh, WizGot moment. Let's just enjoy.
Oh, I love how we have the slow-mo.
Protected by the way. That's my Brightwing moment. But that's it. That was how dominant Wiz was. Game 2, Tracer.
Where's
he
the recall?
actually doesn't recall.
Did he forget that he had that button?
I think it was on cooldown.
No way that was on cooldown.
Oh, we didn't get to see like 20 seconds before. Recall's actually on a
it's
super long
It's a pretty long cooldown, but like that long, I don't know. That's where he thinks that he's playing one of these 5v5 team games where you have to level up each ability. No. You start with all 3, man.
Yeah, and until that moment, I think they were neck and neck, pretty even, but since that Tracer kill, they picked up Tyrael as well very soon. And let's hear the interview from Modern. The flex from Team BlossoM.
Fans going crazy.
Yeah.
오늘 1경기 MVP 블라썸의 모던 선수와 인터뷰 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
We'll have a chat with the
블라썸에서
MVP.
서브딜러를 맡고 있는 모던이라고
Hello, I'm the
합니다.
sub DPS, the flex player from BlossoM Modern.
한마디 부탁드릴게요.
And tonight, how do you feel?
이길 거라 생각을 하진 않았어요.
I was coming in, not really thinking that we're going to win.
그토록 이기고 싶었던
And
템페스트인데
I'm kind of numb actually after this result.
사실 저희가 그 대기실에서 세팅하기 전에
Before you guys set up,
다른
when we were
템페스트 선수들도 있었고
in the lobby with
이렇게
Tempest
얘기를 할
and
때
everyone else,
오늘 이길 확률이 한 20% 정도 될
you were
것
saying
같다.
that we have about 20% of winning,
제가 그렇게 말했어요.
20% chance of winning the
오늘
series.
경기 하기 전에 확실히 좀 그래도 어려울 것 같다. 뭐
Before the match, and you were saying that it was going to be very tough
그쵸?
against
이
Tempest.
세트 이겼을 때도 그냥 화장실에 갔는데
And even after
그냥 좀
our second
빨리
set,
끝내고 싶었어요. 이거 역습 각을 도저히
and
부기가
it was very
싫어가지고
possible that
좀
we were going to be
애들한테도
reverse sweep.
집중하자고
So we
하면서
wanted to
경기했습니다.
focus, we wanted to have it as soon as possible, so we went with the Spider Queen and we just poured everything in Game 3.
쓰는 그런 위치도 그렇고 메디브가 좀 너프가 됐다는 얘기도 있었는데
And Medivh
본인이
had some
생각하기에는
nerfs,
그래도 메디브는
but
우리
do you
팀에서는
still think
좋은
Medivh is
카드다
very strong
하시는
and fits your team?
네, 팀원들이 잘 활용을 하니까
I think it's about my teammates who
메디브가
are
좀 힘이 많이 되죠?
using
그리고
Medivh to
너프가 된
the
건
most
이제
maximum potential.
너프가 돼도 아직 많이 쓸만해요.
Even with the nerf, I think Medivh will be used a lot.
쓰지 말고 팀 리그에서 써보세요. 한번.
But please try not to use it in solo queues. Try using him in Team League, please. Please. He said please twice.
세 번째 세트는
네.
이제 완전 뭐 메디브를 쓰지 않는 조합에서 밴할
In
것도
Game 3,
예상을
you
좀
did
하고
not
계셨죠.
have that Medivh. It was banned out.
네, 밴을 할 것 같았어요. 근데 거미 여왕에서 메디브가
But in
그렇게
Spider
좋은
Queen,
픽은 아니라서 정말
Medivh is, I don't personally think Medivh is not
하더라고요.
the greatest
그렇게
pick
해서 결국에
in
풀린
Spider
게
Queen.
마이에브와 가로시.
So you got
마이에브,
Maiev
두
and
가지가
Garrosh.
고르자마자 뭐 어떤 생각이 좀 있었나요? 아 이건 확실하게 우리가 이겼다.
네,
Did you know that you were winning in draft right after those two picks?
저희가 빡세게 가질 수 있으니까
강하게.
네,
네.
강하게 가질 수 있으니까
We knew after those two,
대로만 간다면
we could just
게임이
flex in.
쉬울 거라고 생각은 했습니다.
with those two, we had the pair. So we kind of had an idea that we're going to win Game 3 after those initial two picks with Garrosh and
플레이오프에서
Maiev.
아래쪽에서 이 5-6이 승자 팀과 한번 맞붙고 거기서 이겨야 또 템페스트를 만나게 되는 거죠.
And you'll be faced off against the first winner, and then
준비하는 데 있어서
if you win, you will be going against
메디브,
again
마이에브 가로시.
against
이거
Tempest.
말고도 또 있습니까?
Do you have anything else? You guys showed Medivh tonight, also Maiev.
새로운 무언가.
And BlossoM is a team with the new strategies.
이제 곤다르 선수의 머리에서 다 나오는 건데
It's all coming out from Gondar.
근데 뭐, 저희가 머릿속에서 나오는 캐릭터들을 저희가 못하는 게 아니라 다룰 수 있기 때문에 그렇게 나오는 거기 때문에
And
항상
also,
좋은
we
맵을
follow
보여줄
his
수 있고
strategy
이제
with all the heroes that we can play.
솔직히 저희도 예측 못해요.
And so,
네,
even I can't
왕관이
really
다
predict.
때문에
Only Gondar knows.
형 이거 할래 하면 알았어.
And he just calls you. Do you want to do this hero? Do you want to try this today?
어떤 게 준비가 돼 있는지.
네, 말을 해주질 않아요.
He doesn't tell
아니,
us. He doesn't tell us
신기한
anything.
아니라서.
팀원들끼리도 그런 대화가 없나요?
So it's a secret. It's a double
팀원들끼리는
trap.
이제
He doesn't even
제가
tell
밴딩 할
anyone.
때도 맨날 나상 선수가 자기 릴리 하고 싶다고 그렇게 맨날
And Nasang always
찡찡대는데
calls that he wants to play Lily.
그래서 오늘 사실 그
See,
세
I
번째
call.
세트에서 마지막에
Okay.
리리가 나왔어야 된다. 그런 얘기가 좀 있었는데.
And even the Korean commentators were saying that we should at least have one Lily
까지는 좀
in phase 1, but Lily
네, 릴리는
still
안 돼요.
나상의 꿈은 언제
has to be buffed a little bit more. Then when are we going to see Nasang's
대답은
Lily?
제가 섣불리 해줄 수 없네요.
Oh, I don't think I can answer that quite as well, you know.
각오 한마디 마지막으로 부탁드릴게요.
Since
이제-
you're going to play off next weekend, let's
난투
hear what you have to
시즌에-
say.
미드 난투 시즌에 이제 저희가 갈 수 있는 기회를 플레이오프에서 잡아야 하는데
Oh, we have to win the
지금
playoffs to go to the
오늘처럼
mid-season brawl.
블라썸 많이 응원해 주시는
And I
팬들,
think
팬 여러분들 그리고
with lots of fans in the
원래부터
audience,
계속 찾아와 주시면서 응원해 주시던
And also online.
주시던 분들에게
I think
많이
that gives up.
보답을 하려고
And we
노력하겠습니다.
try to pay you guys back
네,
the most.
감사합니다. 오늘 승리
So we'll
축하드리고요.
try to
네.
energy up for the
자,
playoff
이것으로
and try
인터뷰
to go to that
마치도록
mid-season
하겠습니다.
brawl.
Of course, that's the goal of all of the teams here, but maybe for BlossoM going into this, it seemed a little bit out of reach. But hey, if they can 3-0 Tempest, then truly what is too far for them to go?
Yeah, you can have different opinions about how tonight's series went and why it happened. And I think Tempest has to be trying some new things as well as fixing their old ones. It's a lot to do within a week of play, but they still have a week. Maybe they can go back to their old form beginning of 2018. They had everything together, but they're even losing to BlossoM. I'm not saying BlossoM was super bad. They were actually really good. But Tempest, lots of problems to fix in all around.
Yeah, well, you know, coming up next, we get to see clear team favorite Ace take on up-and-coming newcomers KSV. Clearly an underdog in that situation based on the way things are going so far, G-Clef.
Yep, that is correct. And as soon as we have to clear, but next up is KSV Black versus Ace.
Yeah.
This one, I do
No,
agree.
no, no,
We
no,
do
no,
have
no,
a
no.
clear favorite.
No.
No, what?
I mean,
no, what?
Where
What?
are your clear favorites coming from?
KSV
I
Black.
saw what happened. Your
Black
clear
does
favorites.
everything right. That's
Is
what
that
Wolf
right?
said.
Is that right?
That's what Wolf said.
Well,
I feel like if I'm
unfortunately-
Black, I think Black does everything right.
Well, unfortunately for everyone involved in today's broadcast, Wolf is not here. I am the Wolf is a werewolf, but you guys did not know about that. Has a lot in common with Greymane, not just that he's a wolf, but also sometimes he changes back into
Human form.
casters like me. So yeah, the human form of Wolf is back here for one more series tonight. So don't go anywhere. We've got Ace versus KSV Black coming up
In 15 minutes.
Straight up, not a minute long. I'm your host, Lana Bashinsky. Let's get to it. KSV Black is back. This weekend, KSV dominated Ballistics in 3 games, taking their place as the #1 seed. After sweeping Tempest last week and Ballistics this week, there simply is not a Korean team that can beat the reigning HGC champions. Rich and crew now have their eyes set on the mid-season brawl to see if any other global team can challenge their return to dominance. In HGC China, CE leads the standings, but all the teams seem to be relatively close in skill level. The One, BTG, and even SPT are going even rounds with each other in their 2-game sets. The dust still seems to be settling after SPT's roster change. No teams have qualified yet for the mid-season brawl and will try to do so in the coming weeks. HGC China will be able to send 2 representative teams to Sweden. The 2017 mid-season brawl champions Fnatic have yet again qualified for their hometown tournament. While not as dominant as they were last year, Fnatic looks to be getting back on track with Mene and Bad Benny. The real question for EU is which team will be getting the 3rd spot for the mid-season brawl. Western Clash runner-ups Zealots, the resurging Team Liquid, the Schwimpy-led Method, and the always entertaining Tricked Esport will look to lock down that coveted spot in the playoffs in 2 weeks. Heroes Hearth Esports shocked the world on Saturday as they took down the #1 team in North America. Heroes Hearth, a team made up of 3 HGC veterans and 2 up-and-coming rookies, came in through the Crucible and took down the American super team Tempest in 3 games. Tempo still stands at the top of the standings as their early dominance has given them a cushion in the match score differential. If Tempo loses against Gale Force this weekend and Heroes Hearth wins against LFM, Heroes Hearth will take the #1 spot to go to the mid-season brawl. Our Week 9 MVP is Heroes Hearth Esports Arthalon. Once a member of the old juggernaut team Tempo Storm, Arthalon took a break from the pro scene for some time. When he decided to return to the HGC, he had to make his way up through the open division. Hats off to Arthalon for his great plays this weekend, and a warm welcome back to this week's MVP.
They keep together. Tonko's out. 2-man tether. Fan's going to be able to keep somebody up here for sure.
BBJ, can he get there in time? He lands the Ancestral as well as gets the heal. Cattle gets taunted, but BlossoM, he's got his eyes on Arthalon.
The scanner got interrupted. He gets the kill. Oh my goodness. And then for anybody going, oh no. Oh God.
That's it for our HGC Minute. Let's take a look at the global standings before we take off. As always, if you missed any of the HGC action, you can catch the VODs on our website, playheroes.com/esports. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. If you only have time to watch one match this weekend, don't miss the Fnatic vs. Liquid series on Saturday at 8 p.m. CEST or 11 a.m. Pacific. Until our next Minute, Heroes, we'll see you in the Nexus.